Pensions are actually brilliant if you know how to use them properly. So you get free money from your employer if you have one, and you also get free money from the government. So by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why I think pensions are worth it and what you can do to maximise them. What I'm also going to do is show you the incredible tax benefits that most people don't really understand that they get from pensions. Plus, what I'm going to do is we're going to look at how to combine pensions with ISAs for what I think could be the perfect retirement strategy. So my name is Saki Hussain and I'm the founder of financialeducation.co.uk, and I've got over 25 years experience of helping people with their retirement planning. So let's start with why pensions give you the best deal going. Here's why pensions beat everything else, hands down. Well, in my opinion anyway. See, the government gives you 25% extra for every penny that you put into your pension. See, that's instant returns, and you can't get that anywhere else. Higher rate taxpayers, well, they get 40% extra, and that's just incredible value for money, it really is. So you put in £100, that becomes £125 or £140 immediately if you're a higher rate taxpayer. And if you're in an employer pension scheme, they probably match those contributions as well, or they'll match part of them anyway. See, that could easily double your money before it even starts to grow for itself. So you miss out on employer matching and you are throwing cash away. So it's literally free money sitting on the table. So do find out if you're maximising what your employer will give you. So on top of that, you've got the state pension, and that gives you just under £12,000 a year for life, and that does go up each year. See, it's not enough on its own, but it's a guaranteed income. So that's worth about £300,000 if you had to buy that privately. So it's worth a lot of money. And you get all this just for working and paying in national insurance over your working life. When you retire, you can take 25% of your pension pot tax-free. So that's a massive bonus that most other investments just don't offer. So if you've got £200,000, that's £50,000 that you can take tax-free out of your pension pot. So there's no income tax, there's no capital gains tax, absolutely nothing. One thing that a lot of people tend to do with the tax-free cash actually is to use it to pay off their mortgage early and get rid of that debt. They can use it to fund an early retirement and spend that money before their state pension kicks in, or just have a once-in-a-lifetime holiday and enjoy themselves. After all, you've earned it. And the rest of your pension, after your 25%, well, you use that to provide you with an income for life. So your money is generally ring-fenced and is safe. So it's theirs for you to enjoy. So how much should you actually pay into a pension? Well, here's my simple rule for pension contributions. Always take the full employer match. So that for me is a non-negotiable. If they put in 4%, you put in 4% and get the most that's available to you. After that, contribute what you can comfortably afford. Start with the minimum auto enrolment amount if money is tight. The most important thing is to be in the pension scheme. If you are in auto enrolment, it's usually 5% from you and 3% from your employer. Try and increase it gradually, maybe increasing it by 1% each year, and try and time it with pay rises so you don't tend to miss it as much. And higher earners should definitely max out their tax relief. The annual allowance is £60,000, and that's obviously going to cover the vast majority of people. And don't stress about hitting these huge targets straight away. Even small amounts grow into serious amounts of money over time. The key thing is to be in there in the pension scheme and to be paying money in. A 25-year-old putting £100 a month could easily have £400,000 by the time that they get to retirement. See, that's the power of starting early and getting your hands on all that free money. And let's not forget about ISAs. Whilst pensions are brilliant, they are not always the complete answer for your lifelong savings. You can't touch your pension until you're 55, and that's going to be going up to 57 soon. And what if you want to retire early or need money for emergencies? Well, that's where ISAs come in, and they work perfectly. You get a £20,000 a year annual allowance, and there's no tax on the growth within the ISA. You can access your money whenever you want, and there's no penalties attached to that. So you can use ISAs for an emergency fund or what's often called an early retirement bridge. So save enough in ISAs to cover you from 50 to 57, and then your pension can kick in. And you've got access to all that lovely tax-free cash that I talked about earlier in the video. See, stocks and shares ISAs can grow just as well in pensions. They're often invested in the same things, but you don't have the restrictions and you don't have the changing rules. So think of ISAs and pensions as the perfect team. ISAs for flexibility and pensions for the incredible tax breaks. But you know, not everything is perfect, and it's only natural that you may have some worries, certainly around pensions. And you know, one of the biggest worries is what happens if the rules change in the future. The government are always tinkering with pensions. And the reality is the rules probably will change, but the core benefits, in my opinion, are here to stay. You know, tax relief has existed for over 100 years. Employer contributions aren't going to be going anywhere. In fact, they're likely to be going up over the next few years. We're just waiting to see by when. The 25% tax-free cash is too popular to scrap, although it has been capped recently. And yes, the pension age might rise, but so will life expectancy, so that should mirror that. So you still get decades of pension income. The other thing to be careful about is the gender pensions gap, and that absolutely is real, but that makes pensions even more important. See, every pound matters when you're starting from behind. Take career breaks if you need to, but the important thing is to keep contributing when you can. Don't stop. That can massively impact you later in life, because even those small amounts will add up over time. The auto-enrolment has now got millions of people saving into retirement. So the system, in my opinion, is actually getting better and not worse. So, a winning pension strategy? Well, here's what I think your action plan should be for pension success. Start with your workplace pension and make sure you're getting the most out of your employer and whatever that they offer. That's the best return you'll ever get on anything, because that really is free money. Increase your contributions by 1% each year, or when you get a pay rise, because you're less likely to miss it. Build an emergency fund in a cash ISA first as well, because you might need that. And then use stocks and shares ISAs for your medium term goals. But don't let ISAs stop you contributing into your pension. Whilst the tax relief is just too good to miss, ISAs do have a role to play. And the other thing I'd recommend you do is check your state pension forecast on the government website. You can just type that into Google or any search engine and you'll find it. Plan around what you're actually going to get, because the forecast will tell you what you can expect from your state pension. Review your pension statements annually as well to make sure that they are growing, and make sure you understand what's in there and what you can expect by the time you get to retirement. Combine your pensions with your ISAs and any property, and build your skills. So multiple income streams gives you the best retirement security that's possible. And you can get free help from the Money Helper website or the government service Pension Wise. Honestly, your future self will thank you for starting looking at this today.